I never thought I'd be saying this about a 1931 Silly Symphony cartoon, but it's like strobe lights towards the end. It is incredibly well animated, and the pacing is so quick. I'd love to know how many cells were involved in the creating of this. This is, of course, Egyptian Melodies, the 1931 Disney Silly Symphony cartoon directed by Wilfred Jackson. And we also have the brilliant Marcelita Garner, our inaugural voice of Minnie Mouse, voicing the spider's scream. This one, in fact, I'll read the description from IMDb because it entertains me. This says a spider sneaks into the Sphinx and has several spooky encounters. So we have this little spider character, it enters the Sphinx, and everything in there is obviously very, I guess, stereotypical ancient Egyptian. I wouldn't say it's stereotypical in any offensive way. Disney certainly at the time, in the 30s and around about then, did a lot of stereotypes that were generally considered to be nowadays quite questionable. But this I don't think is the case. You may disagree, but I've not read anything about anybody saying that, so I think it's pretty safe. The music, however, is not what I would consider to be classic ancient Egyptian esque. You know, when you think of music that accompanies ancient Egyptian animations or documentaries, it's a little bit different, but the pacing works really well, and the music works with the on screen action. The spider is so cute. There are times when we're kind of following the spider almost from the spider's point of view, but we're just behind the spider. And we get to see them going like down tunnels and we follow them, and the way it moves is just so effective. The point of view shots are really appealing. And then, of course, as I said, towards the end, it's like strobe lighting almost, and I don't know if there's a technical term for that style of animation. I'm not an animator, I'm a fan. I don't necessarily have the vocabulary to describe this particular style of animation, but if anybody knows anything about it, please feel free to educate me or point me in the direction of any sources that can teach me some more. But I thought it was very incredibly detailed, very well edited, animated or edited, and I think the concept was quite interesting. This feels a lot more detailed to me than the average Silly Symphony short. I don't know if it's true that they put more time and effort into it, but it just feels like they did. It feels more detailed, it feels more well researched, it feels like somebody sat down and properly storyboarded it rather than just, hoping for the best, which I'm not saying is how they approach their silly symphonies, but I've seen pretty much every one now. There might be a couple left I haven't seen, but usually they feel well done, but not that unique or overly complicated. This one definitely packs a lot into it, and I really enjoyed it. I thoroughly enjoyed Egyptian Melodies. If you haven't seen any silly symphonies before, I'd say it's a great one to start with, but also it's quite atypical. So maybe it wouldn't be the first one I'd recommend as a silly symphony, but certainly on its own, I absolutely recommend it. I found it to be an absolute delight.